I have the pleasure of interviewing Jennifer Schulman. She's the founder and CEO of Fortune Web Marketing. And Jennifer has a thriving digital marketing company and is one of the smartest women I know in the digital marketing arena. So I trust her today to give us the state of the web, so to speak. What's hot, what's not in 2017 for digital marketing. So let's give a warm welcome to my friend and colleague, Jennifer Schulman. Hey, Jen, are you there?
Hey, Krista. How are you? Hi.
Terrific. How are you doing?
Good. Thanks for having me today.
Yeah, so it's great to see you.
Thank you.
Please tell the audience a little bit about yourself, maybe do an introduction for some folks.
Sure. So as Krista said, my name is Jennifer Schulman, and I am the president of Fortune Web Marketing. We are a full-service digital marketing agency, so that means we will handle anything from website design to search engine marketing, social media, email marketing, content or inbound marketing strategies for our clients. We primarily focus on small and medium-sized businesses. We have about 15 people. Our primary office location, our headquarters, if you will, are in Asbury Park, New Jersey, 3 blocks from the beach. So kind of cold right now, but we love it in the summertime. And we also have 2 designers out in an office in LA. So we're very blessed and lucky to have two offices on both coasts.
Awesome, great. So today we're going to talk about digital marketing and just kind of what's happening in 2017 so that our audience can learn from you as the industry expert. So first off, if you were to pick, say, 3 top must-haves for online marketing in the new year, what would they be?
Okay, well, that's easy. There's several, but if I had to drill it down to 3, primary and top of the list would still be the importance for a mobile-friendly website. We get a lot of pushback, especially from primarily from our B2B clients, that their audience, and their customers and prospects are not on their phones looking for them or visiting their website. And that is completely not true. We are all attached to our phones on a daily basis. And Google's about to make some really big changes to further mandate their mobile-friendly preference for websites. Second would be to have a solid content marketing, or to further that, an inbound marketing strategy. And we can talk a little bit about that too. But third would be social media. It's really important for pretty much all businesses, no matter what industry you're in, to have a good social media presence. And again, that's the second area that we get a lot of pushback from our B2B clients that say, oh, well, my audience is not on social media. And again, that's simply not true. They might not be on it at work, but they're on it during their commute, watching TV at night, whatever it may be. Again, it's all about those smartphones.
Awesome. So what I'd like to do is let's take a deep dive into those 3, and then we'll certainly talk about some other things today. But first, let's go back to the mobile-friendly website that you referred to. For the audience, can you just describe what mobile-friendly means?
Sure. So when it comes to your website, there's really 3 ways you can go mobile. So the first is an app, which really wouldn't apply to probably most people on this call, or most of the industries that we particularly serve, and probably your base as well, Krista. Second would be a mobile-friendly website. So you could have, say, fortunewebmarketing.com, but then have mobile.fortunewebmarketing.com. And that will work, but it's not Google's preferred method. It's also not the method preferred by end users. What's preferred is called a responsive website. So responsive is exactly that. It's a website that is coded to simply resize, whether it be in a smart TV, desktop, laptop, tablet, smartphone. It will automatically resize. So you can have one set of code, one set of content, one set of analytics, one set of SEO. If you had a mobile site and a desktop site, you would be doing 2 sets of SEO. So it's really Google's preferred method. They've been preferring that for a very long time now, and they've been making a huge push for people to go mobile. You might remember the mobile get-in, the scary term that the media put around it, for the update they did in April 2015, where they said if you didn't have a mobile-friendly website, you wouldn't be found on search engines. And they're about to go further with that.
Is this an easy thing for businesses to do, and maybe from a cost-efficient standpoint? Is there a plug-in, or do they actually need to recreate a new site?
You need to recreate a new site. If you don't have a mobile-friendly site, you're starting from the ground up, essentially. There are, templates out there and very cheap website platforms such as Wix or GoDaddy, but they really don't offer the SEO benefits. Their templates or themes are not fully responsive. So what we've done is really take the WordPress platform. WordPress is amazing. They have beautiful themes. I mean, tens of thousands of beautiful themes that you can customize. They're all responsive and mobile friendly. And that's what we primarily will build for our small, our SMB clients is a WordPress theme. And you get a built-in blog, you get all the SEO bells and whistles. So, once a WordPress site is customized to your brand and your liking, and you have all your imagery and content in there, it is a content management system or a CMS. So if you know how to use Microsoft Word, it's that easy to add a page, remove a page, edit something. And we provide training on that too, and anyone should who's developing a WordPress site. But that would be my advice, is to find a firm or someone that knows how to customize a WordPress theme. It'll be the least time consuming and the most cost effective.
Okay, great. So let's say our viewers understand the importance of having it and are either working towards that or have one today. It seems like Google, however, kind of controls the world in terms of searching and finding businesses. So maybe you can tell us a little bit about what Google's up to these days, or any updates you want to give us there?
Sure. Google's always doing something. It keeps us on our toes. Sometimes it makes me lose sleep at night. It's Google does control the world, and what they do kind of dictates, technology and how other search engines such as Bing might behave. But one major update in terms of especially mobile, since we're talking about it, in a couple of weeks, probably about 3 to 4 weeks from now, if not sooner, they are going to be splitting their index. So let me explain a little bit what that means. Right now, Google has one index. So think of an index as a big filing cabinet, okay? And in that filing cabinet are all the web pages Google has ever crawled and stored. And when someone does a search, they'll pull from that filing cabinet and serve it up in search engine results. So they have one of those right now. What they're doing in a few weeks is splitting that index. So they're going to have a mobile index and then a desktop laptop index. And they're making the mobile index the primary index. So what that is going to mean is that for people or businesses that don't have a mobile-friendly website, you will only be found in desktop laptop searches 20 to 30% of the time. So you can automatically assume that for 70 to 80% of your current search engine visibility on a desktop laptop, you're going to lose that in a couple of weeks.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even more of a sense of urgency around, making sure that they're getting set up right.
Yeah, it really does. And they just announced this a couple of weeks ago. So people are really scrambling now to get, a mobile friendly website up and running.
So the second thing that you talked about was content marketing, and I want to dive into that a little bit, because there does seem to be a misconception about what content marketing is, and that it's not just the written word, but there's different methods to do content marketing. So tell me a little bit about content marketing in general, because it can seem overwhelming. How can companies start building relevant content?
Sure. So we kind of approach content marketing as a two-phase approach because of our small and medium-sized businesses, and I think it's a good practice for SMBs to follow this approach. And first is really just to start with a content marketing strategy, and then graduate into what we call a true inbound marketing strategy. There is a platform out there called HubSpot. Some of our viewers might be familiar with it. I like to say that it's B2B lead gen on jet fuel. It just incorporates content and SEO and social and email marketing to really nurture your leads and see what types of content different types of customers and prospects are interacting with, so you can create more of it. But for SMBs just getting started, just having some sort of basic content marketing approach is key. Google does look for the content on your website to be updated frequently. It looks for it to be well written, no spelling mistakes, no punctuation mistakes, no grammar mistakes. and you know, not written for a first grader most of the time. But what you need to start with is really look at the content on your own website first, okay? Because if that's not there, then you don't really have a good you know, platform or foundation to build your house on. So you want to make sure that you have a page for each product and service that you are offering, and that it's optimized for that product and service. And then go ahead and graduate yourself to, say, blogging. So anything like blog posts, whether they be articles, infographics, quizzes, anything of that nature. The blog articles can be about the products and services you provide, but I also really urge people to do more lifestyle-based pieces. I mean, we did holiday recipes, we did holiday gift giving guides recently. So I think you really, community-based stuff, if you're doing an event or you're partnered with a nonprofit, if you're part of the board of the Chamber of Commerce, if you want to highlight one of your own customers, anything like that that really humanizes your brand and doesn't always shove products and services down people's throats is going to work and resonate with an audience better. I mean, after all, I'm sure most of us don't want to have products and services thrown at us every day. We want something that's funny or engaging or that we can relate to as a human being.
Yeah. So if someone doesn't have, say, a full-time person on staff to manage content and to create content, what recommendations do you have for them?
Sure. So there's a couple ways that you can do that. First is you can find a freelancer who, you know, might be able to put in anywhere between 5 and say 15 hours a week for you writing. They usually are a little bit more per hour, but as long as you can teach them your industry and they have good writing skills, if they know your industry, that's a bonus. You can go that route. Another route that we really like is hiring interns. Any interns with an English, communications, journalism, PR, marketing type of degree or concentration would be great. They're not going to probably know your industry, but they're really good at, especially at writing those lifestyle pieces, and you can teach them your industry as you go. And then you have to figure out how you're going to get that posted on the website. Are you going to outsource that? Or do you have someone in-house that can create the graphics and put it on WordPress and all that? Or, you know, the final way is to hire an agency, you know, that specializes in things like this, that can do everything from researching the topics you need, writing the content, and posting it to your website.
So how often do you recommend then updating this content so they can continue to remain relevant in the search engine?
Mm-hmm. So again, you know, if you had to think of two things that Google's going to put emphasis on, it's going to be usability. Okay, you know, the mobile friendliness of your website, not too many ads, all page load time is fast, all that. But the second is content. So Google really is looking for your website to be updated frequently. So I'd suggest, you know, updating the homepage banners or any graphics on the homepage about at least 4 times a month, maybe once a week. But as far as blog posts or new, you know, main pages, main product and service pages to your site, I would recommend at a minimum 2 pages per month. It's going to vary per industry. You could do, you know, 2 pages a week, 3 pages a week. But for our SMBs, we usually have a range of between 2 and 6 new content pages being posted per month. So I'd say in that range is a safe bet.
So I'd like you to take our audience from the concept of content marketing and the importance of having it when you're doing inbound marketing. So tie those two together and maybe talk a little bit about inbound marketing for us.
Sure. So inbound marketing is I like to think of it as taking content marketing one step further. So inbound marketing really ties in the content you're producing to getting it out in front of the right audience, okay? Whether it be current customers or prospects. And you do that through email and social media. Primarily, and of course, SEOing all the content that's going to be posted on your website. So when someone interacts with a piece of content on social or email marketing, you'll know, you know, you can track that. Again, like the HubSpot platform is the leader and is the inbound marketing platform to use for that. So, but one principle that we've applied, whether people are on HubSpot or not, is called gated content. And that's really, you know, what we're pushing for our inbound marketing strategies. And gated content is simply, you know, you produce a juicier piece of content, a more meatier, something that's going to have more meaning that people want and someone needs. So a guide, a white paper, a case study, an ebook, something of that nature. And you put a form in front of it, and the person has to fill out that form in order to download that juicy piece of content, and it becomes a lead for you. And then you can nurture that lead along the way. So in a nutshell, the Cliff Notes version, that's what inbound marketing is.
And then the concept really is to generate leads and build the database, and
Correct.
then be able to even do a better job segmenting it and continuing to market to your audience.
Right. Once you have a lead that's interested in a certain topic, you know that you could probably send them similar topics and then nurture them with really killer and amazing content until you get that close. So a lot of marketing nowadays is winning the relationship before you win the sale. And I don't believe that there's a differentiating line anymore between B2B and B2C businesses. I think the approach should be more, a human to human, an H to H, or a person to person, a P to P factor when it comes to marketing. I think we need to take off those old B2B versus B2C hats and put on our, human and person to person hats and think like that a little bit more.
Yeah. So let's take a few minutes and talk about social marketing, which was the third kind of must-have. And I know you mentioned at the beginning that there's still people that think that they don't need to have social marketing as part of their strategy, but everybody is walking around with a smartphone. So tell us how they can make social marketing, really be relevant for their business.
So again, it all starts and ends with your content. Okay. If you're not producing content, and again, videos, white papers, infographics, blog posts, case studies, anything like that, even your custom imagery that you might create around a social media post is considered content. It's all your digital assets and your content that you're putting out there. And it starts with that. If you don't have good stuff to put out, then you're kind of dead in the water, because what are people going to interact with when it comes to your brand? Why would they come to your website? Why would they come to your social media page? So it really starts with the content that you're putting out. And one of the most important things on social media is to promote any content that you are producing. So the blog posts, any gated content you might produce, etc. You also want to promote your products and services. But again, we're going to shift away from, throwing products and services down your throat and go back to humanizing the brand, because social media is essentially word of mouth marketing done online. And word of mouth marketing is the most powerful form of marketing. So when you're on social media, you don't want to be that company that only talks about products and services and do business with me and make me money. You don't want to be that person. You want to humanize your brand. You want to get engaged with your audience. So lifestyle posts, pictures of people around the office, pictures of you and your staff at events, office dogs. I mean, people love dogs, right? The office dogs, just anything like any posts like that, it will get so much engagement because they humanize the brand. You're not just a company, you're actually a face behind the company. So I really think it's important to have a good mix of content, both about what you do and the services you provide. At the end of the day, we all do want to make money, but you have to humanize the face of your brand. And, another misconception about social media, as I mentioned when we started the call, is a lot of people are like, oh, I'm B2B. My audience is not on social media. And that is simply not true. The smartphone has revolutionized everything, the way that we search, the way that we purchase, the way that we want to think, do, buy, plan, anything in our lives. And people are on social media all the time, whether it be in front of their TV at night before they go to bed, whether it be on a conference call or a webinar, they're just on their phones checking social media. So businesses have the opportunity to engage with their audience on social media. Maybe you don't post during business hours. Maybe you post more at nights on weekends, and take the approach that way. So I really think that if you're going to do social media, you're going to do it to grow your brand and increase your brand awareness online. That's your first goal. Don't dive into it thinking you're going to get, 900 leads and $10,000 of orders in the first couple of months. It's word of mouth marketing. It increases your brand awareness online.
Something I wanted to ask from a curiosity standpoint is advertising through like Facebook advertising, pay to ad or to boost certain posts. What's your opinion on that?
It is an essential part of a Facebook marketing strategy. It's probably been about 2 years now that Facebook changed their algorithm. The algorithm decides what stories you see from your friends or any company or brand pages you follow in your newsfeed. And what they did was, they said, if you're a company or a brand page, we used to show everything you post to maybe like 10 to 15% of your followers. Now we're going to drop that to 1 to 2%. And if you want more visibility for your posts, you have to boost them or create an ad for them. So brilliant move on Facebook's part, because it further monetized their channel. But small and medium-sized businesses were like, hey, well, we're posting good stuff. We want it seen. So what I think is really important is to make sure you have a Facebook advertising strategy. It could be as little as $50 a month. It really isn't expensive. It has an extremely low cost per click. You can target the heck out of Facebook ads, and the reach is phenomenal. You get the most bang for your buck, and that's going to be one of the number one ways you're going to grow your following on Facebook and get your content seen. Without even a little boost, say that $50 a month, it's really tough to do that organically nowadays.
Yeah, and I'll attest to that, because just this morning, I boosted our K-Coaching Facebook ad for today's show, and it was $5.
Right.
And we'll be going back and looking at the stats, but we knew how many people had registered before we did the boost, and then how many we had registered after, and it really increased significantly and kind of got outside of our normal audience or business base. And it was like $5.
I know, it works, and it won't break your it won't break your bank. It's well within anyone's budget, and the reach and the targeting is amazing with it. So it's kind of a must-have. Mm-hmm.
So I'm curious too, as far as digital marketing goes, do you see it replacing traditional marketing?
No, I don't see it replacing traditional marketing. We have several clients that still even do radio and TV ads. And of course, there is always going to be a need for the print side of things or your direct marketing, whether that's a postcard, brochures, your traditional direct mail pieces, anything, or print ads. There's still a time and a place for that. So we don't really see it replacing, but we see the majority of budgets shifting away from print to digital. That trend started years ago. It's still there. So I think there's a time and place for everything. It will vary for industry, but it's never, ever going to firmly go away. What you do online is just simply more evergreen. It's going to have a longer life cycle than, say, a direct mail piece or a print ad in a publication. So that's why I think you see those shifts still happening from traditional to digital.
Well, and what we see a lot of our audience doing is email marketing. Mm-hmm. And there's pros and cons, and there's good methods to do that. But what would you say are some tips, perhaps, to improve readership for our viewers?
Mm-hmm. So it's funny that you brought that up, because if you asked me for 4 digital marketing trends or must-haves, the 4th one would have been email marketing. I think it really completes the puzzle. About a year or 2 ago, you still had the there was still the idea in people's heads that email is dead. The inboxes are flooded. Nobody wants to get bombarded. Unsubscribe rates are through the roof, et cetera. And while that may be true, that's because people aren't doing it the right way. But I will tell you, the resurgence of email marketing that we've seen, in other agencies and ours, has been phenomenal the last year. It really, people are adding it. They're doing SEO and they're producing this content and they're on social media, but that missing piece is email marketing. So, a couple tips there. I think there's probably, 4 things I can say around email marketing. And the first goes back to mobile. Where, all the email clients and the devices you check your email on are making great strides to render responsive email templates properly. So I would, try to build an email template that's mobile friendly. That would be first and foremost. Again, think about how many times per day you check your email on your phone, and if you could get an email that was, more visible and easy to click through and read, you would probably engage with that a lot more. And then the second thing would be your content and your copy, and the messaging. You know, what's your subject line? What are you putting out in, you know, in your actual email copy? Are you, again, shoving products and services 2 to 3 times a week down someone's throat? And a lot of, like, you know, you might have like a supplier or a wholesaler or a buying group or some sort of person in your industry that has, you know, a canned email program that they'll just send these out, you know, for you a couple times a week, but they all might be very product specific. My advice is to pick and choose the ones that you send and sprinkle in your own messaging. Promote your content on your blog, promote any events you're doing, promote your relationships with nonprofits, check your subject lines. If you have video and you actually put video in the email subject line, it's shown to increase open rates by 30%. So, you know, what you're putting from your subject line to the body of your copy really can make a huge difference. The third thing about email is list segmentation. A lot of SMBs will, you know, have one list, and it's really better to break that all out into several lists based on the interests of, and, you know, the buying habits perhaps of your customers. And fourth and final is reporting. Always look at your analytics. Is your you know, are your bounce rates high? You know, you probably have bad emails. Are people not opening them? If they're unsubscribing too much, your messaging is off, or you're sending it too frequently.
Yeah, there's a lot to learn about email marketing, and certainly everything about digital marketing. And I appreciate all the advice and tips and techniques that you're providing us today. Time has kind of flown. We try and keep the show to about 30 minutes, but it can be overwhelming. So I just wanted maybe for you to share briefly a success story, maybe of a business that was able to take 1 or 2 of those ideas and really get a good ROI on it.
Mm-hmm. Sure. And I think that comes in the form of lead gen, for honestly a client that we have in the office products market, and they adopted the whole inbound marketing strategy. They promote their content on social media. A majority of their content is gated. It goes out via email. It goes out via social media. It's SEO'd, and they have almost every piece that they create that's a gated content piece gets probably 10 or more leads from it, and they are a small business down south, not too far from you, Krista. So yeah, so it's really worked, and it's all those cogs, you know, in the wheel that make it all turn properly, from content, SEO, good website, email, social.
Yeah, awesome. So Jen, it was great having you today. And I just want to congratulate you on the success that you're having with your clients and business growth. Wanted to make sure it was okay if we shared your contact information, not to get bombarded necessarily with messages, but if someone wants to reach out to you, maybe with a question, or, you know, kind of stay connected with you, we wanted to be able to show that today. Is that all right?
Sure, it'd be my pleasure. Thank you.
Okay, great. So we'll put that up on the screen here, and then you'll be able to connect with Jen, or, you know, send her an email. Maybe you can find her on LinkedIn. But yeah, so there's information actually on both of us there on the screen. So I'd like our audience, please, to mark your calendar for the 3rd Wednesday of every month, as we will go live with the Krista Moore Talk Show. And so I want you to also note that on January 1st, we're going to be launching the Krista Moore Talk Show website, where you'll be able to go and pre-register for all of our upcoming events. And you'll also be able to listen to pre-recorded sessions, either visually, watch it, or download it in a podcast form. So until then, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to our viewers. And at K Coaching, we care about you, and we care about your success. And we'll see you next month. Thanks.